One of the most difficult formations for any defense to defend is a trips nub set. That's three receivers split out wide in your traditional spread trips. But opposite, you have a traditional on the ball tight end with his hand in the dirt. It creates an extra gap that the defense now has to account for. In a split field coverage, there's really two choices a defense has. You can either cloud force it and play cover two over that nub tight end, or you can sky force it and put the safety into a primary fit. Now, this changes the technique of the defensive end, which is what we're going to break down on this film. Let's get into the tape. We're going to start with sky force, which is going to put our safety in a primary gap. Now, the way that the Falcons have set this up is that they put the three technique to the tight end side. Now, off of the film, we have three receivers this way. What the Falcons are going to do is they are going to put their safety in what is called a primary fit. In order to do that and to keep it clean, they're going to open up the C gap, which we have right here. The defensive end is head up, but then he moves out into a 9 technique. His job is essentially to rush up the field and box everything. We have our 3 technique in the B gap. We have our Mike in the A gap. That puts our primary safety in the C gap. So if we get zone run and it hits the front side, he has to fit that C gap. This also alleviates a lot of issues for the corners folding into the box. One thing a lot of corners at really any level are not great at doing is folding in. If they were, they'd be playing nickel, which is obviously off the screen. So we don't want the corner folding in. Our safety is also not over top of the tight end. So it's really difficult for him to cap any kind of vertical from that tight end. So what we have is a corner who is locked on. You can see him. He's in a crouch position, man position, locked onto the tight end. That safety has his back foot back, and he's going to drive down on any kind of run. Here, Dallas is just going to run a regular zone. You can see that safety kind of pop. Watch how the corner doesn't move at all. The corner is not concerned with anything in the backfield. He is making sure that that tight end does not run a route. You can see 3 fit, and then he comes down. Now, the way that this ends up working is they do kind of like a cross block or really kind of a influence and up. They kind of make this into a trap for the defensive end. That's something that you see a lot of times at the NFL because this edge is going to work vertical. He's not going to necessarily work to wash down because he's going to want to set the edge. So you can see that the tackle works out. That kind of creates this gap. This tackle works vertically, but you can see his aiming point, and then he's going to fall back on this once he gets to linebacker depth. So again, at the snap of the ball, you're going to see that he's going to pop. He sees that it is zone, and then he is going to fit where he is needed. Obviously, his aiming point is going to be at C gap, and then he's going to have to fold back in. But Bates is there to make contact with the running back. Typically, defenses will cloud force anytime they get the running back to the nub tight end. What this does is this creates a stack formation. So this is what I call a dirty stack. You have the ability to really go after the defense here and high-low them. In order to combat that, we're going to have the corner stay low and the safety stay high. That changes the way that the defensive end now has to play because the corner is now going to be outside. He's got the most outside gap. So who's going to take this C gap? This is going to be the defensive end. Watch how his stance changes from that edge stance where he was outside to now a square stance where he is going to press the tight end and put his face in the C gap. That way our corner can fit outside, and then our safety now has secondary support. Remember, we're in cover 2. The corner is going to be primary outside force. Nothing can get outside of him. The safety is going to be secondary because he is the deep half. He has to make sure nothing goes vertical. Cowboys are going to motion, and they're going to do this kind of loop-de-loop motion that we see now that's really popular, and they're going to get a bubble away from the read. And you can see that where we are going to get just a same side, I call this zone lock because you have a tight end. So instead of running split zone, you just go ahead and put the tight end on that side, and it ends up being the same side. Watch how the defensive end attempts to stay square, and he's going to put his face in the C gap. And watch how our leverage works really nice here. We have the corner working outside shoulder. The safety sees the ball in. He's going to be the cap defender. We have our defensive end washing down. We're able to belly key with this. And then we have the cap fitter here with the safety. You always want to have an outside shoulder inside shoulder, and then a cap defender. We always want to fit with 3. It creates a smiley face, which makes a defensive coordinator happy. So this is exactly what we see here with the Falcons. You can see that there's nowhere really for him to go. He's got to really force fit it in there. Nice job by that corner. He can really bend once he gets there trying to get that. But this is a good example again of sky versus cloud force against a nub. As you can see in split field, the force player does matter, especially wherever the running back is set. If the running back is set to the trips, creating a quads, defenses are going to sky force that. They're either going to use that backside safety as kind of a poach player front side, or they're really just going to have him read the back and fit where they need it. If there's a running back and a tight end together, that creates a natural stack. We want to make sure that we high-low that. The best way to do that in split field coverage is to build a triangle, which is cover 2. And so you can see how the Falcons used both of those sets. One with the running back away, sky force, one with the running back to the nub, and that is cloud force.